Hello, everybody, and we are doing our 14th chapter of troubleshooting and maintenance, which is a very, very valuable chapter. Yes, today probably we are troubleshooting, so my computer is just my voice, and you don't see me, but that's okay. Maybe your day is better. We already did about system recovery. We talked about the reinstallment. We spoke about control panel, and I think the only thing I missed out was showing you this particular screen. Each features of control panel in my last video, maybe the screen got blocked. Again, troubleshooting has all those things. But what happens under system and security? So this is one of the areas we spoke about, that if it's system and security, fine, it's a Windows upgrade, power option, backup, restore. The entire chapter, half of it is only about what is in control and panel. For example, a very important feature of control and panel is hardware and sound. So we spoken about, printers, devices, sound, volume button. A lot of time, these are basic troubleshooting. And one of the easiest way to troubleshoot, and this is a question, and I'm giving you, there are primarily 6 to 7 steps to troubleshoot. One is reboot the system. Another one is control alt delete. Remember, these are common features we use so much. Control alt delete, rebooting the system. So if I were to say the 7 steps, please make a note of these steps. It will be very useful for you. Number one step is identify the problem. What's the problem? Is it the sound? Is it the printer? Is it the Wi-Fi not connected to the LAN? So number one is identifying the problem. Number two is establish theory to the cause. So the theory could be the power is not good, it's weak, it's not connected well, any theory. Third one is exactly the same, test the theory. So you identify the problem, you think of a theory, you test the theory. Okay, what about my power cable? Is it connected? Can I see it? Then the next one is create a plan, implement the plan. So number 4 and 5 is very easy. Create a resolution plan, implement the plan, and then 6 and 7 will be verified, recheck it, and document the solution. So it did work, it did not work. These are the 7 steps to problem solving. And today what we'll do is we'll do hardware troubleshooting. What I told you is a standard answer for any 2 mark or 4 mark. The 7 steps, the problem, theory, what is the testing the theory, the plan, implementing the plan, verifying it, documenting it. So now, what are we doing with hardware troubleshooting? Number one, for example, what are the precautions before you diagnose or troubleshoot? Well, remember, never replace a computer peripheral near the main supply. You don't want to have electric shock. You don't want some kind of electric failure happening. So do keep away from the main power failure. Never touch a computer with wet hands, which is standard. This is the standard point that we are talking about. Always use anti-static computer kit so you don't get a shock. So all of these are very simple. Never use your teeth to clean or cut wires. Please don't do that. Have good extension powers. And one of my theory in life is wear very good socks. Yes. And please buy good electronic goods. We buy poor earphones. They look like Apple or Boat earphones. They really cause more trouble in your ears than anything. And socks, well, read my LinkedIn blog. Harbhajan Singh was sent back from New Zealand because his stock stinks. I would not want a stock with a hole, a sock with a hole or stinking, but that's a different theory. Nothing to do with computers. You will remember these points. So these are simple precautions. What if your monitor is not working? Well, one of the most common problems is not plugged in. So just check the power switch if it's on or not. Is the monitor cable plugged in or not plugged in? Still, if it doesn't work, to change the display setting, go to Start menu, change display setting, and you will see the font being displayed. Is it being available, the appearance of it? So all of this is available in your simple display screen. You can go from control panel. These are small areas you need to work. These are called hardware troubleshoot. Remember, monitor is a hardware, printer is a hardware. What if your printer cable is not working? I think you need not even read it. Number one, I will check if the printer is connected. Sometimes the cable itself is not attached. Number two, is your printer switched on? Are there enough papers in the printer? Is the network cable, are you connecting with the right? There's a Samsung printer and you're maybe giving it to a HP LaserJet. Is it the right printer that is connected? Then load the paper in case there is a paper jam. Maybe the papers are there, but it's a paper jam. So the next point is paper jam. First, the paper was there. And finally, how do I do a test print? Again, our favorite answer, go to control panel. And in the control panel, where am I asking you to go? You please go to device and printers. So this is the most important thing. Write it down. Control panel, device and printers. Choose the printer, printer properties, and print test page. If the test page comes out well, you know your printer has no problem. Maybe it's the landscape, the orientation, maybe the paper is not well. It's a basic thing. We all should know how to troubleshoot. You don't need a engineer, a developer, or someone coming from Urban Page to just help you to a printer setup. So the test printing is very important. Once you know the test printing, you know, and then you know what is your default printer. Sometimes we forget that the default printer could be different for different laptops. So please make sure you have a default printer. Remember the syntax, remember these pointers. When a question is asked, you will have to write it in the right syntax. So in case the printer still does not do the printing of the test page, you need to go to printer troubleshooter. Again, it's from device and printers from control panel. Select printer, right click on the printer name and choose to troubleshoot. It will diagnose and it will give you. So today what we are doing in this little 10 minutes that I'm sharing with you, we're only doing every single hardware troubleshooting. We usually don't use CD troubleshooting anymore. CD drives are not there in the laptops. But however, we have a USB drive. So the same thing works. Insert the drive, see if the CD is correctly placed. You may not even have the question. Check if the CD is not of any malfunctioning software. Is the CD crashed or broken? Or check whether CDR or CD, what is R is read only, and read and write, is it erased? So these are small steps. Remember, and you can write it in your own words, but make sure you have some keywords written there. If a keyboard is not working, it is almost same as a monitor. Check the cable, look at the USB port, put it in a different port, or maybe disconnect the printer, clean it with a dry cloth and connect it again. Sometimes it's as simple as just dust accumulating on your cables, and that is why they are not working. The mouse is almost the same. Most of your mouse is integrated in a laptop, but if you're using an external mouse, check the cable, check for this thing, clean it with the dry cloth, use USB port. Everything is very similar. Just remember the pointers and you're doing very good. Now, what is a network, Shams? So imagine if you're not on a LAN, local area network. Check if the network cable is plugged in. One of the most common problems is the cable itself is not plugged in. Check if a light, for example, if you're using a Wi-Fi connection, there is a green light always on. If it's a blinking light, it means it's not connected well. If it's a red light, it means it's not even there. So you might have to put a request. A ticket has to be raised for it. Check if the username, password, or domains are set correctly. Somewhere we may not have given the right, credentials for it. Re-enter the username and password. If you still get a error message, check the login credentials on other PCs. One of the best thing they say in India, when there is an electric failure, the first thing people get out is say, "Baju wale ka gaya hai ki nahi?" If it's the same electric failure, people feel more relieved. Well, this is exactly what we're doing. Check if all the printers, all the LANs are connected. If not, then there's a troubleshooting, and you may have to call a system administrator or somebody from the IT department. Video troubleshooting, troubleshooting. If the video is not on, check the monitor, check the plug. Very simple. Sound troubleshooting, check the external speakers, check the plug, check if the speakers are turned on, check if the volume is turned on. Oh my goodness, some common sense here, but people really don't even know. And then replug the printer, replug the speakers. Very basic questions, but this is what we do. What if there is no power? So all you need to do is reset the BIOS, right? Reset the computer. It is almost like as simple as the computer doesn't fire up, you are resetting the computer, which is a basic thing that you're doing. However, if still the monitor is not working, there might be a short circuit. If it's still not working, check all the peripherals, the wire harnesses, where the wire, maybe the power is not reaching, the power supply is not there. If it's still not there, change the power supply. Different plug point. Maybe it's the problem with the socket there. If it's still not there, now you do something different. Remove the motherboard with the processor, and now you check if the motherboard is working. It's called anti-static surface, where what happens, sometimes there is a current, accumulated, and it doesn't help charge the computer. I suggest this is a difficult step. Mark it down. It's important. Replace the processor. That's the only thing you can do. Or replace the motherboard, which is अच्छा खासा फटका लगेगा. It's an expensive thing. You're spending 4 to 7,000 rupees. The more expensive ones comes in. But remember, now power failure is a bigger thing. Okay, so you need to understand these steps. Where are we now? On the final step of hardware uploading is reinstall and update drivers. These are very basic things. Now the drivers, CDs are available. You can, as I said, download the torrents from drivers. Of all, I cannot recommend a fake website. Make sure it's all paid and authentic website. The hardware softwares are related mostly to drivers. You also need to upload your cache memory, upload your, make sure RAM is free, defragment the drivers. These are basic points, and reinstalling the drivers and reinstalling and installing, uninstalling and reinstalling is the key. So in today's chapter, before we go to software upload in the third part, we did a lot of hardware upload, and if you realize, most of it is very, very similar. If you only rewrite it, understand it, it is very easy. It's a basic thing, and hopefully you will know these steps of a troubleshooting a laptop, a computer, anything that can go on. There are quick questions in software, very interesting one. We'll do it in the next page. Remember the 7 simple steps. Ask me, I'll give you a notes of the 7 steps. But number 1, identify the problem. So break it down into smaller problem. What has changed? Research into it. Then identify the cause of it. And all of them, write an example. So whenever there's a question, write, okay, the cause could be the power cable is not plugged in, anti-static device is not there. Maybe we need to reboot the system, test the theory, establish a plan, escalate it, verify it, and document it. All the best, and hopefully you have mastered this hardware troubleshooting.